But obviously, that's not the reason, so yeah, Joe's doing the same thing. Tonight is a night to give thanks. It is a night for giving thanks for 11 years. 11 years. Gretchen, yeah, okay, 10 and a half? 11 and a half, okay. 11 and a half. Gretchen showed up, and I can't remember exactly which month it was, but within a month, I think, we had a vacancy as the parish secretary, and we had gotten to know each other just a little bit, and I said, would you do this? And then,
is very different.
and then we had a number of people interviewed her, and she got the job. So, and then within 11 months, I think it was, something like that, Paige O'Flaherty decided she was going to retire because Kevin was retiring, and so at that point, we said, well, would you be the parish administrator instead of the secretary? And she said yes, thankfully. She didn't know what she was getting herself into. Because at the time, the job was a 17-hour, and then a 22-hour, and then a 25-hour, and then a 30-hour, and then a 35-hour, and then a 40-hour. And all those changes were simply because she kept inventing new things to do. And it wasn't that she wanted more hours, it's just that she kept improving what we did. And if those of you who've been around for 12 years or more know, we were decent, but we weren't good about our communications. And Gretchen took that and professionalized the appearance, made sure we branded the way that we did things, created consistent templates, consistent communications, and instead of things being very haphazard, we had a schedule. And then she kept improving the graphics and improving the website, and everything step by step just kept getting better and better. And it was all gradual, but at the end of that, we realized she was probably working 60 hours a week, and we better pay her for, at least for 40, and do that. So that's kind of how we got to where we are. But I want to say more, because it wasn't just that. Had we not had Gretchen in the role, I know we would have failed the pandemic. But what happened was, several of us who were here said, we're not going to miss a beat. And Gretchen showed up that first Sunday after we were ordered by the bishop on Friday to not have services. On Sunday, 2 days later, we started streaming. And then we figured out how to make that happen and make it so that everybody knew about it, and kept going on and on and on. And she, as much as anybody, is responsible for us not just surviving the pandemic, but really finding a new way to thrive. And I know we had people who joined us just because of what our communications were, what was on the website, what was happening with our streaming, and all that is Gretchen. Okay? So I want to say thank you. And then she kept showing up at every one of the services. And I would tell her, you don't have to show up at 8 o'clock, 10:30, and 5 o'clock. And pretty soon I realized it had nothing to do with what we had to have. It was more about she was falling in love with all of you. And with people she didn't actually know. And all of a sudden she knew everybody. And I used to pride myself on remembering people, but she's twice as good and does that work. So all of these things that we've done over these last 11 years she's happy to be in. And they, to the point where today we've been trying to interview and try to recruit somebody for over 3 months. And every time they hear what she does, they drop out. And so it's actually a self-fulfilling problem of some sort. But we did manage to talk her into not leaving us completely. So she will continue as the director of communications while she's in Germany. So we'll still get some time out of her helping what she can do remotely, which is really wonderful. But you know, along the way, everything kept getting better and better. She actually took a certificate in becoming a digital evangelist. It's a seminary program. And so she's also, I think, the only one in the diocese who became certified as a digital evangelist. These are the kinds of things that she was doing behind the scenes that let her know, give her a network of people to consult with, and the principles of what she was trying to do, and that's, she kept getting better and better and better. So all that's good. I'm going to let her say a word or two, because I know she said she wanted to have rebuttal time. But I give thanks all the time for Gretchen, what she's done. I know we'll all miss her. I know those of us in the office will miss her terribly because of what she's managed to accomplish, but we're not going to let her off the hook. So here you go.
I'm not a public speaker like this one, so bear with me, and I'm also a crier, so bear with me. I want to give a little background, because a lot of people haven't been here as long as I have, and we were living this way. We were living in Israel when we came back here, and when we were there, it sounds odd, but in the Holy Land, we went to church one time in 2 years there. And that seems a little crazy, but the Anglican Episcopal Church was up in Jerusalem, and we were in Tel Aviv area. And Jeff worked every Sunday, because that's a work day in Israel. And the traffic is terrible. And on the Sundays that I would say, okay boys, we're gonna get up and we're gonna get moving and do this and get in the car and we're off. And we would get hardly there to Jerusalem. And the traffic was so bad that every single time I turned the car around and went back home. Wow. Because there was no way we would have made it to church. Communion probably would have been over by the time we got it. It didn't matter how early we seemed to leave, it just didn't work. So once we found out we were coming back here, I was emailing with my mom and saying, okay, we're coming back, and where should we go to church? And she's emailed me back and said, well, Dick, who's my stepfather's a retired priest, said you should try Old Donation. I hadn't heard of Old Donation in my summers spent here. So I pulled it up and I Googled where it was, and I wrote it back and I said, Mom, it's really far. And she wrote it back and said, it is closer than Jerusalem. So came to church, that was at the end of September, and came a few times, and then the first week we got signed up for the email letters, and the boys were signed up for the youth program, because I'm like, they've got to get involved and everything. And a couple weeks later, the email came out saying we're looking for a parish secretary. And I thought, and Jeff was working up in DC while I was here with the boys, and I thought, well, I can do that. And so I let Bob know on a Wednesday, I'd be interested in that. And it was just like a 15-hour-a-week job or something. And honest confession, I wasn't gonna stay. It was all a lark. I'm like, this is a good way to meet people and to get involved, and I'll do it for a while, and then I'll be done. It'll be fine. Well, Bob told me the part of Paige left after a few months. Bob had been on sabbatical, so I really didn't know him very well. And Paige left, and then I was leaving one day after work, and he came out to the parking lot. And it was kind of like the drug deal through the administrator. And I was like, sure, I can do that. And it's like, okay, see you in the morning. So that happened.
Way to go, Bob.
Yeah, who would have thought that this is how things turned out? But let me tell you, it's been a pleasure. All of you have been part of who I am now. And I'm so, so thankful for that. You have been there. This year has been a tough, tough year. And we knew it was gonna be tough when Jeff took this job, but oh my word, we didn't know how tough it would be. And each one of you have stood firm and prayed and hugged me and sent well wishes and cards and just even in the background, I knew it was going on to get us through this year. You know, Jeff has been gone since Easter. My mother has died. I kicked my youngest kid out of the house. I said, I don't know where you're gonna live, but you need to figure it out because it's not gonna be here, so figure this stuff out. And it's all come together. But you all have been amazing for that. And this community has been a stronghold for me and for our family, and I thank you for that. The senior wardens over the years, I can't name you all we've got our Lisa here right now. So thank you, because you've heard me bitch and moan about this. You listened to me and you haven't just said, come on, get over it. My office angels, my office angels. You may think, I see Carol back there, you may think that sitting at the desk and reading a book is not very helpful. But you have no idea. You're there to answer the phones, to send people away, to point people return home for a minute. To take people where they need to go, so I'm not jumping up from my desk every 2 minutes to do that. It is a huge help, even though the current office angels may not realize that or feel like they're being much help. They really are. All of the people in the background, you know, Bob talked about COVID and so busy. Part of it was just keeping the church open, but part of it was all the construction. And David Beach here, our construction manager, was incredible and helped me stay sane with everything that was going on with his organization and great humor. And we had some really, really good times here. We were in the bullpen when
You were desperate.
We were desperate, yeah, right through. But when we had our office out here, when we called bullpen, and he would turn on a silly song, and we would just dissolve in laughter. And it got us through, and that was really important during those days. I would be remiss if I didn't thank my family. Now, it's really weird that my family is not here with me tonight, because Jeff thought about flying in, but it really would have been flying for one day and then leaving again immediately, and that's hard to justify. Peter was supposed to be here this weekend, and then his plans changed. Blair couldn't be here, so this is a little bit odd. All the years that Jeff was active duty Air Force, and we did his promotions and different jobs and his hail and farewells, and he stood up there and said thank you to his family and thank you to me for supporting. Well, the roles are completely changed now, because in this job, he's been in the background and he has supported our family while I've been here and trying to help with all of this. And nary a complaint from the family, nothing from the boys, as I'm skidding inside saying, okay, here's dinner, and I need to run back to church, or on a Friday, a day off. I'm just gonna run in for a couple minutes, or a Saturday. I'll be home in about an hour. They all would, I think, probably be shaking their head when that didn't actually happen, but they were fine with it. They didn't complain, and I'm very, very thankful for them and love them for supporting me in all of this. So the last one is Father Bob. I think it's really, really rare in life to have a working relationship like Bob and I have. And I'm very, very thankful for that, because I don't think get that experience of having that relationship. You have trusted me, you have encouraged me, you have kind of put me in my place, listened to me, and you challenged me. Not only from in the office challenging me, but challenging from the pulpit as well. So thank you. It's been a joy, and I wouldn't trade a moment of it. But all of you, thank you. I appreciate it all. Thank you for being here tonight, and I love you.
Have two things that we want to get. No, not rebuttal. The first is we have one gift for you that we thought was so appropriate, and unfortunately it's not here tonight, but it will be here tomorrow, which is kind of like everything I do, right? And I wish I had everything. I'd put it up on the TV, but you'll see it tomorrow around here. But there's one thing that's been true about Gretchen's frustrations, and I and some vestry members all saw this shirt that Patricia Cheshire would have it here tonight, but she had a little bit of a reaction to a shot she took today, so she's not here tonight. She wishes she could be. But you can now see it. It is a pink t-shirt and it says, "It's in the bulletin." Been in there for weeks. Which many of you understand because you've heard that. Why are you asking me that question? It was in the bell ringer. It was in 3 chimes. It's been in the bulletin. Do you not read anything? We know this. It's the truth. So tomorrow you'll get your t-shirt.
Okay, good.
But the other thing on a more serious note is we wanted to, we commissioned a mosaic from Joe Beach right over there, who makes some beautiful mosaics around the church. And we asked her to do the bell tower in the church, and she said, well, I already did a bell tower with the church and a flamingo.
That's right.
Which fit exactly Gretchen. Someone was asking me, what's with the flamingos? But her cottage that she is staying in right now, that she has a rental house, is named the Flamingo Cottage because flamingos are her symbol. But because Joe had already created that for you, we said, well, what else could you do? And she and Dave figured out how to go down to the place where you always go to the ocean. And every day, if you're on Facebook and you ever check out Gretchen's Facebook page, she sees every day she posts a landscape, sometimes over the water, of this scene that is right across the street and down the block from her house. And so they went and they actually took a picture and figured out where they were and put all that stuff into this mosaic. And so this is our gift to you, so that when you're in Germany, you remember
the ocean.
you used to live near an ocean. So unless somebody else has something they were just itching to say, okay, then I think we're done with this part, and we can go back to eating and drinking and having fun, and everybody has to be here in the morning. This does not count.